Joe Biden has given us his farewell address to the nation from the Oval Office. It has quite a few talking points that I would like to go over and just talk about a few things. Overall, terrible, and it kind of reflects his presidency, in my opinion, because it's just full of lies and bullcrap. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it.
My fellow Americans, I'm speaking to you tonight from the Oval Office. Before I begin, let me speak to important news from earlier today. After 8 months of nonstop negotiation, by my administration, a ceasefire and a hostage deal has been reached by Israel and Hamas, the elements of which I laid out in great detail in May of this year. This plan was developed and negotiated.
This was not Joe Biden's plan. He's been president the entire time during the Israel-Palestine conflict. He has made very little to no effort in getting these hostages out. Any effort he has put forward has failed. The only reason these hostages are allegedly being released now is because Donald Trump is days away from entering office, and he said that he will bring hell upon them if the hostages aren't released by the time he enters office. This has nothing to do with Joe Biden. He's just taking credit for it on his way out of office.
Negotiated by my team, and will be largely implemented.
Very quiet. I don't know how to boost the sound.
That's why I told my team to keep the incoming administration fully informed, because that's how it should be, working together as Americans.
You see what he did there? He's trying to say that he kept the Trump team fully informed. And that's why they released the statement before he did, because I don't have it pulled up right now, but Donald Trump actually announced the ceasefire and the hostages being released before the White House did. That's because Donald Trump sent someone to go and talk to Netanyahu and broker the deal. This has nothing to do with the Biden administration. They've been an absolute failure for the past 4 years, and now they're trying to take credit for Trump's success on the way out.
This will be my final address to you from the American people from the Oval.
If you get bored of watching Joe Biden, just watch the sign language lady on the right. She's
and maybe more importantly,
interesting.
Long ago in New York Harbor, an iron worker installed beam after beam, day after day. He was joined by steel workers, stonemasons, engineers. They built not just a single structure, but a beacon of freedom. The very idea of America was so big, we felt the entire world needed to see. The Statue of Liberty, a gift from France after our Civil War. Like the very idea of America, it was built not...
A lot of people are saying that this was pre-recorded, even though it was meant to look like a live stream, but I'm pretty sure they've done that a few times, so I'm not surprised.
America, the Statue of Liberty is not standing still. Her foot literally steps forward atop a broken chain of human bondage. She's on the march, and she literally moves. She was built to sway back and forth to withstand the fury of stormy weather, to stand the test of time because storms are always coming. She sways a few inches, but she never falls into the current below. An engineering marvel. The Statue of Liberty is also an enduring symbol of the soul of our nation, a soul shaped by forces that bring us together and by forces that pull us apart. And yet, through good times and tough times, we've withstood it all. A nation of pioneers and explorers.
He's just kind of droning on, saying nonsense, probably reading from a teleprompter.
Native to this land, of ancestors who came by force. A nation of immigrants who came to build a better life. A nation holding the torch of the most powerful idea ever in the history of the world. That all of us are created equal.
Except for your son, because he got pardoned by you.
Justice and fairness. That democracy.
Oh yeah, justice for Hunter.
And be defined and be imposed, moved in every way possible. Our rights, our freedoms, our dreams. But we know the idea of America, our institution, our people, our values that uphold it are constantly being tested.
Yeah, they're being tested by people like you.
About power and the exercise of power. But whether we lead by the example of our power or the power of our example. whether we show the courage to stand up to the abuse of power or we yield to it. After 50 years at the center of all of this, I know that believing in the idea of America,
This poor guy should have retired a while ago.
a free society, the presidency, the Congress, the courts, a free and independent press, institutions that are rooted.
A free and independent press, like the press that got censored when they tried to release the Biden laptop.
But they echo the words of the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident. Rooted in the timeless words of the Constitution, we the people. Our system of separation of powers, checks and balances. It may not be perfect, but it's maintained our democracy for nearly 250 years, longer than any other nation in history that's ever tried such a bold experiment. In the past 4 years, our democracy has held strong.
No, it hasn't.
And every day
Our rights were infringed. You were trying to censor stuff all over the internet. You got us into multiple wars.
history. I've had a great partner in Vice President Kamala.
Tried to force vaccines on people.
It's been the honor of my life to see the resilience of essential workers getting us through a once-in-a-century pandemic. The heroism of service members and first responders keeping us safe. The determination of advocates standing up for our rights and our freedoms instead of losing their jobs to an economic crisis that we inherited millions of Americans.
An economic crisis that you inherited? You partly caused it.
Creating new
COVID was a once-in-a-lifetime thing, but you did not help.
workers, using American products. And together,
We don't use American products. You didn't bring manufacturing back home like Trump is promising.
organizations of
A lot of crap we have here is built in China.
new roads, bridges, clean water, affordable high-speed internet for every American. We invented the semiconductor.
What about Palestine, Ohio? Is their water clean yet?
Little finger, and now is bringing
After the train derailment?
and those jobs back to America where they belong.
You didn't bring jobs back to America where they belong. You didn't do that.
Giving Medicare the power to negotiate lower prescription drug prices for millions of seniors. And finally, doing something to protect our children and our families by passing the most significant gun safety law in 30 years. And bringing violent
The best gun safety law is no gun safety law.
meeting our sacred obligation to over 1 million veterans so far who are exposed to toxic materials, and to their families, providing medical care and education benefits and more for their families. You know, it will take time.
At least his record is better than Justin Trudeau's, who claimed giving funding to Ukraine and climate change is his two biggest accomplishments. At least Joe Biden has a bigger list.
Nearly 17 million new jobs, more than any other single administration.
Oh, you can't count those jobs. A lot of those jobs were lost during COVID and came back once you opened everything up and stopped locking crap down. Can't take credit for that.
Free. And we pulled ahead of our competition with China and so much more.
Have we?
I'm so proud of how much
I'm not convinced.
we together for the American people. And I wish the incoming administration success because I want America to succeed. That's why I've upheld my duty to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition of power.
I appreciate that at least. It has been a peaceful transition thus far.
I have no doubt that America's in a position to continue to succeed.
Except for Kamala Harris. She refused to give J.D. Vance a tour of the vice president's home.
A country of some things that give me great concern. This is a dangerous and that's a dangerous concentration of power in the hands of a very few ultra-wealthy people.
Oh, like George Soros?
If their abuse of power is left unchecked.
He's talking about Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and Jeff Bezos, probably, who's now siding with Trump because Trump actually wants to bring manufacturing back to the country, work out better trade deals, all kinds of stuff.
And freedom. And a fair shot for everyone to get ahead. We see the consequences all across America. And we've seen it before. More than a century ago, but the American people stood up to the robber barons back then and busted the trusts. They didn't punish the wealthy. They just made the wealthy play by the rules everybody else had to. Workers want rights to earn their fair share.
Everyone does play by the same rules. The difference is those rules can be broken if you have enough money.
Us on a path to building the largest middle class, the most prosperous century any nation in the world has ever seen. We've got to do that again. In the last 4 years, that is exactly what we've done.
No, it isn't.
People should be able to make as much as they can, but play by the same rules. Pay their fair share of taxes.
Oh, like the people in California who are stealing things under $950? What kind of rules are we talking about?
The threat of climate change has never been clear.
Climate change is ridiculous. It's just an excuse for people to limit your freedoms.
That's why I signed the most significant climate and clean energy law ever.
If climate change was actually an issue, the things that we're doing to combat climate change isn't enough, and it's not doing anything. And if you actually do want to, go against climate change, we would probably need to declare war on China at this point, because they are way more, they're way worse than us when it comes to carbon emissions and stuff like that. So if climate change is actually a problem, we need to go to war with these other countries. If that's what you truly believe is climate change is a huge issue, the United States is not the biggest contributor to that. And the things we're doing to combat it aren't enough, and they don't work. So
Our children and our grandchildren must keep pushing forward and push faster. There's no time to waste.
there is no time to waste. You should have resigned.
Leadership in technology is an unparalleled source of innovation that can transform lives. We see the same dangers of the concentration of technology, power, and wealth. His farewell address, President Eisenhower spoke of the dangers of the military-industrial complex. He warned us then about, and I quote,
Now you're worried about the military-industrial complex? Look at Ukraine and Israel, dude. What?
misplaced power, end of quote. 6 decades later, I'm equally concerned about the potential rise of a tech-industrial complex that could pose real dangers for our country as well. Americans are being buried under an avalanche of misinformation and disinformation, enabling the abuse of power.
Oh, misinformation, like how you opened this farewell address about saying you brokered the deal with Israel and Palestine?
The truth is smothered by lies told for power and for profit. We must hold the
I agree there. I do agree there. The truth is, buried by misinformation and lies, but a lot of that misinformation and lies comes from people like Joe Biden who don't want the truth to come out about their business dealings, about how they were trying to force vaccines on people, stuff about vaccines. All kinds of stuff is buried under misinformation. I do agree, but I don't think we should have some so-called expert telling everyone what's right and wrong. I think people can disseminate that for themselves.
For humanity. Artificial intelligence even has the potential to help us answer my call to end cancer as we know it.
Oh, your call to end cancer. Like, people haven't been calling for that for decades,
AI
centuries.
spawn new threats to our rights, our way of life, to our privacy, how we work, and how we protect our nation.
It's Joe Biden's call to end cancer, guys. He called for it. It's his. He owns it. So once cancer gets cured one day, thank Joe Biden.
Of AI, it's more important than ever that the people must govern.
The people should govern. You're right. But we have a lot of elected officials that don't see it that way.
Must lead the world in the development of
Like Joe Biden, for example, who wants to do a bunch of crap on his way out of office.
Help to be. It's going to be up to the president, the presidency, the Congress, the courts, the free press, and the American people to confront these powerful forces. We must reform the tax code, not by giving the biggest tax cuts to billionaires, but by making them begin to pay their fair share.
No, you're right. We should reform the tax code. Abolish income tax.
Too many campaign contributions. We need to get it out of our politics. We need to enact an 18-year time and term, for the strongest ethics reforms for our Supreme Court.
Did you just say term limits for the Supreme Court?
From trading stock while they're in the Congress.
Wait, go back. Hang on.
We need to amend the Constitution.
Did he just say?
Term limit, time and term, for the strongest ethics reforms for our Supreme Court.
Okay, well, he fumbles his words there, but I think he just called for term limits for the Supreme Court, which was that's not how it was ever intended to be. They were intended to be lifelong positions so that they would stay out of politics. If they give them term limits, they become politicians. That's exactly what we don't want.
It's not absolute, and it shouldn't be. And in a democracy, there's another danger to the concentration of power and wealth. It erodes a sense of
Look at this lady on the right.
purpose. It causes distrust and division.
She's not matching his energy.
Participating in our democracy becomes exhausting and even disillusioning. And people don't feel like they have a fair shot. We have to stay engaged in the process.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have a fair shot because you guys keep putting in laws that help criminals, like gun laws, allowing people to steal stuff under $950, all kinds of stuff. Not being able to defend myself, turning into a Daniel Penny.
Going as far as your hard work and talent can take you. We can never lose that.
Unless you're white. Go as far as your talent can take you, unless you're white.
Believed, and I've told other world leaders, America can be defined by one word.
Bullshit.
Possibilities. Only in America do we believe anything is possible. Like a kid with a stutter.
Oh yeah, anything is possible, like men becoming women, right?
In Claremont, Delaware, sitting behind this desk in the Oval Office as President of the United States. That's the magic of America. It's all around us. Upstairs in the residence of the White House, I've walked by a painting of the Statue of Liberty I don't know how many times.
I'm surprised you could even remember that, Joe. You should probably just be on a beach in a chair, just living out the rest of your days, dude. I don't know why you're still president. You're gone.
Every day I pass it, of the story and soul of our nation and the power of the American people. There's a story of a veteran. This is a veteran, the son of an immigrant, whose job was to climb that torch and polish the amber panes so rays of light could reach out as far as possible. He was known as the keeper of the flame. He once said of the Statue of Liberty, quote, speaks a silent universal language, one of hope that anyone who seeks and speaks freedom can understand. Yes, we sway back and forth to withstand the fury of the storm, to stand the test of time. A constant struggle, constant struggle.
Yeah, I'm ready for the sway back.
Between peril and possibility. But what I believe is the America of our dreams is always closer than we think. It's up to us to make our dreams come true. Let me close by stating my gratitude to so many people, to the members of my administration,
That puppeted you for the last 4 years?
first responders across the country and around the world. Thank you for stepping up to serve. To our service members and your families, it's been the highest honor of my life to lead you as Commander-in-Chief. And of course to Kamala and her incredible partner, the historic Vice President. She and Doug have
The only thing historic about her is being the first woman black vice president. Like, there's nothing significant about her at all. And that's why she lost. And that's why she didn't get the nomination in the first place when she ran against Joe Biden.
entire family.
And when she ran against Hillary Clinton, too, I'm pretty sure.
My eternal thanks to you, the American people.
And I thank you, Joe Biden, for getting the hell out of office. Finally.
My word. I still believe in the idea for which this nation stands. A nation where the strength of our institutions and the character of our people matter and must endure. Now it's your turn to stand guard. May you all be the keeper of the flame. May you keep the faith. I love America.
Yeah, we are all keepers of the flame against people like you who want to take away our gun rights and freedom of speech and try to force injections into us and other medical procedures, or trans our kids and take our kids away when we refuse to trans them. And then he just sits there kind of frozen until it finally times out. Yeah. Farewell, Joe Biden. You will not be missed. You will go down in history as one of the single worst presidents that we've ever had. I can't see him gone soon enough. You know, I don't wish any ill will on Biden personally, but his administration and the actions he's done over the past 4 years have been wholly destructive to this country. And his time as a politician has not been good either. He's been in political positions for over 50 years, and it has been a long time for him to step down and retire from public office. He does not need to be there anymore. He's not doing anything good for the country. He's out of touch, and he's being puppeted by whoever's behind the scenes. I can't wait to see Donald Trump in office and take this position. It's going to be great for the country. And a lot of the things that Joe Biden said he wants done, Trump will be doing it. Trump will be bringing back manufacturing. Trump is getting the hostages out. Trump is going to improve the economy. Trump is going to fix the tax codes. He's going to fix all of that stuff. Who knows? Maybe we'll even get a cure for cancer in this next administration. It seems like everything the Democrats want to do, Trump ends up doing better. So we'll see how it goes. Just a few more days and Trump will be in office. But thank you guys for tuning in, and that is farewell to Joe Biden. Peace out.